Aloha and welcome back to Compass TV, episode number 3. Today is going to be a super special episode. We're going to be having my friends CJ and Pavana on. They are amazing people and they have so much insight and wisdom to share with you today. And we're going to be talking all about the power of breath and Kundalini yoga. So come on, let's go meet them.
Hey, I'm CJ. Happy to be here today. I'm somewhat of a elite athlete turned healer through all my experiences of injuries and things like that, and just happy to live my life on the journey of supporting others and going through the changes of life and making sense of the whole thing through the breath and movement and sound.
Aloha, my name is Pavana. I have a background in classical voice and opera. And violin making as well. I deeply believe that we are all instruments of peace ourselves innately, and my offerings have to do with nervous system regulation and voice empowerment.
What is the importance of breath for you both?
The breath for me is, wow, it's like it's everything, it's in everything, it connects everything, and it's like spirit's infusion into whatever it is that we're doing. And it's like spirit coming in our body. It's our relationship with spirit in our body. Because I've used the breath to train, to do crazy breath work, to get real hyped up and pump myself up, or to hold my breath in big waves, or also to calm my nervous system all the way down, right? So like no matter what you're doing, the breath, you can use the breath to regulate yourself. And also, if you just look at the breath, it'll also be like a diagnosis where it'll show you how you're doing when you like check in with yourself with it, right? What is it for you?
The importance of breath. For me, the importance of breath, as CJ reflected, it really is everything. In the lineage of Kriya Yoga that I've studied, the breath is the teacher itself, that it doesn't even matter if we're actually holding a difficult asana, body posture, or we're chanting a specific mantra, that we have that intentional breath is what brings us into that present moment, and the breath is the greatest teacher that we have. As well, that breath is the greatest tool that we have to come back home, to homeostasis, to feel that sanctuary within ourselves. It's through the inhale and the exhale and the balancing of those two that life force enters the body, that we let go of what no longer serves, and we create this alchemical moment of transmutation, that our karmas are able to become our dharma, that we're able to alchemize, with the breath, in a way that we're able to utilize the pain and the sufferings of our lives to serve and to show up and to share our gifts.
What do you both believe happens when we pass, and what is life's meaning to you?
I guess it's just what I think, right? I don't know. No one really knows. I've had glimpses based on my own meditations, near-death experiences, whatever it may be. When we pass, I think we go in the breeze, very much like a Pocahontas cartoon, and here the wind picks up and the leaves go, and we, in a sense, somehow our soul, our being, the vibrational stream that we are, is like living in this body for this life. It's not contained to it, but kind of it is in this life, right? So the parts of it that are contained in this body or feel contained in this body, I believe once we officially let go of the body, of the attachment to the body, right? Because it's not even once the body decays, it's just like boom, whatever the moment is, the spirit, our soul has let go of the body, and then that like returns to the all, right? Because it's all the all, so it returns to all to continue its journey like that. So it's such a, I think my feeling is that it's such a like liberation, coming home, of freedom from the body that feels so restricting sometimes. And where we go, I think it's infinite, it's like unknowable, it's all mind, right? So there's all these realms and things apparently that lead all back to the one.
And also linking it, tracking it with the wisdom of the breath and why the breath is important. And the fundamentals of the breath is the inhale and the exhale, right? That's what's constantly happening, and with life and death, that's what's happening. And we're oscillating on one side of the veil or the other, love the way Alan Watts describes in his book, The Book. He talks about God got bored with himself and didn't know what to do, so he started incarnating down into form to play hide and seek and find himself again. And so, yeah, I think, that there is that moment of connection back to source with the one, and then once we're with the one, we want to go play and be in form again. So it's this constant inhale and exhale. There is no end in sight.
I asked this question, what is my purpose in life? What is my purpose? And I asked it when I was sitting with some plant medicine, with ayahuasca, and it was very interesting because, right, I'm thinking, what's my purpose, this and that, and like everything kept coming back to get your spine aligned, breathe fluid and smoothly and evenly, and keep your body relaxed. So it's basically, the purpose is to, with as much alignment and clarity and centered thought, to experience fully whatever the particular moment is by welcoming it in fully and completely surrendering to the way that it is. And it came to me that as far as my life purpose, if I was doing that well, just grounding electricity into my body, that would be enough purpose actually for me. And that's cool. So that's very that's relieving. It's kind of liberating, I can just sit and meditate and breathe and I'm doing well, And then there's so much other fun stuff that comes with that, because from sitting, it's like, listening, and then you're listening to the sounds, and from that comes music, and it's all sound, all music. That's big, I know, for both of us. And the quieter one's mind can become, the more one can listen, the more one hears. And okay, so there's meaning and purpose in just that unfolding of life, and enjoying it honestly, because I think God got bored and became all these things and we forgot that we were that and think we're all these other things. So much of it's playing and experiencing and exploring in a cool, gentle way, without the attachments or anything, just as it is, including ourself, letting our playfulness come out as it is, as opposed to what will it look like. It's no, it's just happening. Non-resistance.
Yeah. So yeah, CJ just stitched in that word, to remember, and I love, compounded within that word itself is the wisdom of the one, to remember. We're bringing the members, the parts, back to whole, to oneness, and we remember that we are a part of this tapestry of life, of oneness. And so, yeah, the point of it all, the meaning, the purpose for myself as well, is this regulation within the body, this homeostasis and this harmony. And I've had a few very profound experiences of witnessing children receive live music for the first time, to hear a full orchestra play. Children who've only heard condensed MP3s in their earbuds, and we think sound just goes into our eardrum, but we feel sound on our whole body. And I do believe very much so that infusing harmony, bringing my internal peace, the work that I do to live a peaceful life and live a regulated life, infusing that into my surroundings and letting that ripple out into my family and into my community is the most important thing. And I think that, music itself is the tangible experience, as much as we can touch it, of that sensation of harmony. We talk about harmony in the ways we interact with people, and literally infusing harmonics of peacefulness, rather than dissonance, into the field will change our world. So,
Wahe Gudo.
I love that. Love that.
The sound stream and the vibrations and that power impact, and then also taking it to the next level of your expertise of voice, singing, and then even that brings us into the chanting with harmony, with good thoughts, of then one is dosing themselves with your own musical medicine, your own voice, right? Because one can tune in if you plug your ears and your eyes and you go, you can feel your whole skull vibrating, everything's vibrating, right? So whatever it is, to get the vibrations in and get it moving.
The pituitary and pineal glands, and the glands regulate the rest of the bodies, the hormones of the body. And I love what CJ was just touching on. As we know, didgeridoo, gong, crystal bowls. We love going to live music. Sound is medicine, music is medicine, but what the yogis say is the most medicinal sound current on the whole planet is your own voice, that your voice is divinely designed for your own DNA. There is no other sound, no other singer who could sing to you that would be as healing to your heart and your inner child and your traumas than your own voice. And I love then diving deeper into the neuroscience of sound, understanding that we have, I think it's 64 meridian points on the roof of our mouth, and you can't think yourself out of a rut. So when you have a thought that no longer serves, a limiting belief, a story that is very triggering, the more times you engage with that thought, the neuron digs a deeper groove, a deeper rut, and you attach more to the emotionality of that story. You can't think yourself out of that. So the way we do that is by chanting mantra, plugging in computer code onto the roof of our mouth, the meridian points, because we're saying the same word again and again and again and again and again, and our tongue flips that code that we plug in, and then we carve a new neuro template. We carve new neural pathways that we're able to fire from and live from and praise life from. And the last thing I wanted to touch on as well with the singing and then stitching it back with the breath is that, as we know, an elongated exhale is one of the quickest ways to stimulate the parasympathetic, to be in a space of love and compassion and not fear. And to me, one of the most organic, innate ways that I've found to practice an extended exhale is by singing. Because when we sing, we take an inhale, and now I'm singing my song, and a long, extended exhale. And so when we're in the car, and we're in the shower, or whatever, and we're singing ourselves home. We're singing ourselves to homeostasis and to that peacefulness that we can share with our communities.
And also, as far as this meaning purpose goes, what I love about the breath and tuning in and frequency, and we're talking about different ways to regulate, and like, there's no absolute answer for life, right? Of like, oh, no matter what, you do this, and this is what you do. No, some situations call us to calm ourselves down a little bit and go in. Some situations we gotta like get excited and go, whatever it is. And that's part of that ticket of life, is everything is changing all the time. There's no one right answer unless that one answer is in alignment with the fluidity of the positive, negative, the whole nature of the universe. The creation is the in and out, positive, negative. So there is no static anything. We're doing our best to be in the middle and be harmonious, but there's no right answer. It's all within us, and it comes from our feelings.
The next question is, what do you wish everyone in the world understood?
I wish everyone in the world could understand, depending, of course, on specific circumstances of our lives and the cards that we've been dealt, and this specific incarnation we find ourselves in, is that to a certain extent we have a capacity within ourselves to regulate, to come home, to find that peace through the breath, through an elongated exhale, through singing, because singing, the vagus nerve also runs through the voice box, so we have access to the vagus nerve through singing as well. Through rhythm, through repetitive movement of the body and of the breath and of our voices, we rock and cradle our nervous systems back home to homeostasis. And I think a lot of us look for that sanctuary, that sensation of home out in the world, but we really truly only find that and are able to surrender completely when we find that within ourselves.
Yeah, absolutely. Because where do we experience anything? Anything we experience, where are we actually experiencing? Oh, we're seeing a thing? Like, no, we're picking up light, and our brain is producing an image of what the light looks like, and all this is just happening in our brain, right? So yeah, if I could, if there was some understanding that could be magically gifted to everybody, it would definitely be that all that you seek is within you. It's in our bodies, it's reflected in our breath, it's reflected in the way we move, groove, our rhythm, whatever it is that we want, the peace we seek or the love, it's all either in our emotional body. It's all in us, in our body, in our mind. It's all here. We are the universe, right? Made in the image of the one great creator universe, and we are our own universe. And that's where the whole world is. And we could explore that for this whole life and be learning plenty. All the answers are there. And like Pavana was saying, depending on our cards, because it's easy for us to sit here in Hawaii and overlook and say, oh, it's so beautiful and it's all within, and people going through tough things. It's like, no, there's this thing out there trying to get me, and it's real, and I don't have all the answers. And also I know that no matter how scary the thing is out there, if you can regulate your nervous system and bring your nervous system to a state of peace, no matter how scary the thing is out there, you're not storing the trauma and fear in your body and then suffering for it for eons later. And if you end up dying in that moment, God forbid, or whatever happens, it happens. But if there's no fear, trauma, then you're not stuck holding on, being there. So we're it. And that's the ticket to let it go and accept it as it is. Much easier said than done in some situations, but it seems to be it.
That can come back to a lot of things that people experience, coming back to your own body is like an answer to everyone's experience. So
yeah, check in. Understood. When you're having a moment in life and something comes up, something triggers, someone says something, or you're happy, whatever it is, like check back in on how you're feeling, because immediately sometimes we'll say, oh, it's that thing. I need that thing out of my life. No, just check in, come back in. It's not that thing. And then we're like hurting people and things by saying, oh no, that's not good for me. It's hurtful when it's not. It's the way we're thinking about the thing that's hurting us.
How do you both have the confidence to chase what you love and stay positive and stay grounded in yourself and show up as your confident, most highest self? How do you do that every day?
May I start?
Yes, please.
I don't think it's all the time that happens. I think imposter syndrome is real. I think a lot of people feel that often. I myself feel that often. Almost the night before every yoga class I teach, I'm like, oh, maybe I should cancel. No one wants to hear what I have to share, the wisdom I've collected, that I get to continue sharing and passing along. And for me, the reason I oscillate, but I'm able to come back to this confidence and ability to share the gifts I've been given is because I feel as though it is my duty. I feel as though when you have such a privilege of living a life full of so much joy and play and peace, for me to have a war inside my head and not be able to choose that joy and choose that peace is a sacrifice that I'm making in life, And so, of course, we all go through things, and I myself have had my journey. I recently lost my grandmother, which has been very challenging, and just the thought of it at any moment, can bring a tear to my eye and allow me to spiral into a very sad place. But I have faith that eventually I will come back to the joy and come back to the peace, knowing that it's my responsibility to feel that.
I love that you said you can allow yourself to spiral. And I too, it's not always confidence. And I've been told, and I resonate with being the most insecure, confident person that you could ever meet. Because right, this allowing to spiral that takes place, and I've gone through it and still do, of like, our mind will take us as far as we let it take us. So she's mentioning losing her grandma, and it's a sad thing. Same thing for me with my dog from some time ago. And like, if I think about it and start thinking in that way, then I can literally feel even my posture kind of dropping, and it's like getting sad, and it's like, oh yeah, the thing, and I can just go, and I could go into and go crying and bump, like whatever, as long as you want. And eventually you got to come out. The deeper you go, the harder it is to come out. Sometimes we feel like we need to go in order to like get something out, and we do. And also we can get stuck. And it's like wherever we're choosing to be at any point in our mind is where we are, basically. So like she's saying, you can allow yourself to spiral, or like, oh, it's like, oh, so sad, my grandma, and like there's things uncontrollable. But as we meditate and slow down and bring space in between thoughts and responses, or external things and responses, then we can choose. And you can choose, oh yeah, I am very sad, and I remember that I'm so blessed, and that I had, you know, that my grandma loved me so much, and I've got her blood, and she showed me all these things, and just reframe in our mind the spiral. And then we can allow our mind to spiral up in the other direction, right? We also can be like, oh my God, it's my birthday, I'm gonna have this party, and woo, it's gonna be like this, it's gonna be so great, I have the cake and everything's gonna be perfect. And then like, boom, if we're up there, then like in the party, one little thing's not right, and we're like, my birthday's ruined, right? So like, woo,
It's a roller coaster.
right? So like, for me, the confidence comes from being in the center right here, trying to be as neutral as possible, because the truth is we are creator, all, everything, expansive, and also nothing. Like, we can't even fathom what nothing really is. It's actually nothing. We don't even know what that means, you know? And then it's heaven and sky and beautiful, and then it's earth and below. And no matter what, we are humans here on this earth, like all the beings, the flying birds, the plants, like everything on earth is like equal. We're all in the same playing field, right? We're fortunate as humans. We think we're so awesome, you know, we've got a little more consciousness, we're evolving in consciousness, so we make tools and communicate in this way and all these things, right? Really, as far as life and creation goes, we're just another piece of life. And every piece of life has the right to express the life that's coming through it. That's all that life wants to do, I'm convinced, through everything, is express itself, and it expresses through me in one way, and through Pavana in one way, and through the birds in one way, and through each of you in one way. And that's why we are so important, because we're the only one who can express life in the way that we're gonna do it. So when that kind of confidence comes in, or maybe it's more of a like, well, whatever, I kind of don't care, I'm gonna do what feels good as long as I'm not hurting anybody, all the things, right, to make any choice to do anything. That's the ultimate confidence that comes, is like, oh wow, I'm like here in the middle of all this, and like, yeah, I am all of it, and I'm also nothing, so like, it's okay. It doesn't matter what I do, no one really cares, and like, it like really could affect somebody and their day, and it could change their whole life. It's like, it's everything. There's no answer. We're safe nowhere, and we're safe everywhere. Right?
I love
Wahe
that. I love that.
Wahe
Yeah.
Gouda.
I love that.
That's
No,
great.
that's so true.
And yeah, something in there I wanted to reflect was the like undefined neutral that you brought in, and that's a big concept in this Kriya Yoga that we practice. Is we have three mental bodies. We have the positive and the negative mind, and just as he shared with the roller coaster of the positive and the negative, when you're in the positive or the negative, you'll always have like what's that called when they put like a colored screen over a lens or something? A filter? Yeah. You'll always have the filter of the positive or the negative affecting the experience in that moment. So we only truly are in the present truth of what is when we are in that undefined neutrality, and then we're able to navigate. And the last thing I'll stitch into that as well that helps me feel confidence as I navigate through the neutrality is muscle memory. Is having a sadhana, having a meditation practice, one of the most important things one of my yoga teachers ever told me is you teach what you know, you teach what you practice. And you always know when you're talking to someone if they're telling you something they read about and they find fascinating, or if they're telling you about something they've lived and they experienced in their cells. And that's where the Gene Keys ties in that I love so much, written by Richard Rudd, that stems from human design, and that each of these emotional intelligences that we have that move through us move in a shadow, a gift, and a Siddhic or Buddha state. And so we're gifted these shadows, these low vibrational emotions of anger, of frustration, of inadequacy.
That's fine.
Stress is one of the main ones of mine, anxiety, so that we can feel that within ourselves and regulate ourselves so that we can share what we've felt. And that turns into a gift that we get to share with someone else. I get to be there for you because I went through that myself.
The confidence of that you actually can build it like a muscle and strengthen it, and it's through action.
Yep.
Literally just doing gives us confidence.
Exactly.
We don't even have to do it right. It's better if we do, and in the way she teaches of slowing down so we get the right muscle memory. We want to do things fast, we're excited. The slower we do it, the more our brain is locking in the right way, and then we can do as fast as we want later. But yeah, anyway, confidence comes from action. Whatever the thing is you're wanting to get confidence, you just gotta go do it,
Yeah.
at least a little bit.
And I think you're able to create that space of possible mistake making, right? When you have that compassion for yourself. And another word that's really coming in right now too that you touched on is gratitude as well. I think brings confidence to our lives. What I share at the end of every yoga class is one of the Sikh blessings or sayings of Vaheguru Ji Ki Khalsa. Whoa, I can't even say it right now.
Vaheguru Ji Ka Khalsa.
Vaheguru Ji Ki Fateh. And that is, the people, all of us, come from the creator of all. And everything that moves through us, every action we take and every accomplishment we have, every way that we're able to share some sort of poetry with beauty or with grace that means something to someone isn't us. It's creator moving through us. And when we're able to redirect that energy and be so grateful for this life and this moment, how can we not have the confidence to serve the way creator is asking us to?
Exactly. At that point, it's not even like confidence isn't even the right word. You know, it's like serving. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like what? It's like
doing
I'm not.
what
It's
you're
not me.
Made for. Yeah, you're serving like the greater. Yeah.
Thanks so much for watching. Don't forget, follow your compass, and I'll see you in the next episode.